Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sparrows and Business Diaries. I have had a complete disaster with a vlog that I was editing. Something went wrong with my microphone, so I've had to ditch a load of footage that I had. So instead, I've decided I'm going to talk you through my quarter 3 income report. It's something that I think some of you might find interesting, and it was a really good exercise for me as well to just look back over the last 3 months and figure out what things are working, what things aren't working, and to take action so that hopefully next year's quarter 3 is a lot better. Now, quarter 3 is traditionally my absolute worst quarter of the year, and you are going to see that in my income. There's nothing particularly amazing about any of this at all. For those of you that are new to my channel, I'm trying to make about £12,000 a year from some creative online income streams. That works out at about, I think, $1,400 or thereabouts. And I've been doing this on and off for a few years now, but I really want to start taking it seriously to see if I can grow some of these income streams. So this year is really about stabilizing my income, trying to get about on average £1,000, about $1,200 every single month. And we're going to take a look at July, August, and September and see what happened. Let's get started. So in July then, I have my jewellery shop on eBay where I sell secondhand, modern and vintage jewellery. That brought in £298.30, which is terrible. The dollar amount is underneath, it's $363.36. This is truly awful. I've been reselling on eBay for a long time, and what happened this summer is I drastically cut my stock down. I more than halved it. I got rid of a load of stuff that had been hanging around. In hindsight, I think I was a little bit too hasty. Usually, so this isn't my eBay turnover, by the way. This is the net amount after fees and after postage, but it's before expenses like buying stock, for example. Now, I didn't really buy any stock over the summer because I completely lost focus on this income stream. I tend to every summer. I've never really been able to sort that out. The one thing I have done though is I've now split my listings across eBay and I've got some on Etsy. Now on Etsy, it's just vintage jewelry and other vintage items. On there, I made, I've missed out my pound sign for some reason. I made £43.50 net, so after fees and after postage, which is about just over $50. This is also terrible, but I didn't have that many listings up at the time. I think eBay was around, 200 listings, something like that. Etsy was probably, 30 to 40 listings. So the number of items that I had for sale was the lowest I think it's been in the last 4 years. Yeah, it's performed as you would expect a very neglected income stream to perform. The other reason why my reselling is very low over the summer is I don't really sell anything that's specifically geared towards summer, which is something that I'm going to look at for next year. I'm thinking that actually I ought to put together some summer bundles of jewelry, things with mother of pearl, wooden jewelry, just anything that looks summery. I could do with sort of putting that to one side and bringing out those items and listing them next summer. The other thing I do is something you'll see in the bottom left hand corner is I do pick up exam marking. I am a qualified teacher. I did some exam marking last year, and this year I increased the amount that I did, and you'll see in a minute that that has actually helped me out a lot in July. Let's move on though. Let's not get stuck on any one thing. Let's have a look at KDP. So with KDP, what I've chosen to do is to show you the money earned in July. This doesn't get paid out until 2 months later. So I actually got paid in July was from 2 months prior to July, but all of that gets a little bit too confusing, and I'm not here sort of showing you my bookkeeping and every last detail of what's going in and out of my accounts. I'm just trying to give you a flavor, I suppose, a kind of some like ballpark figures of what's coming in from all of these different income streams. So £94.66 from KDP. That was very close to a target that I'd set myself, that I wanted to get £100 a month from it, about $120, $125. And I came very close to it in July. So I was really, really pleased with that. YouTube was terrible. I can't remember if I released a video in July. I think I've maybe released one. I'd have to double check. I mean, by the look of things, it's one video plus a little bit of money from the back catalogue. So yeah, £29.46, not great. $35.89. My goal with YouTube is I want to get to the point where I'm releasing about 4 videos a month, roughly one per week, and that's bringing in about £100 in ad revenue, or maybe just slightly under that. I'd like to make £1,000 a year from YouTube, basically. So maybe looking at like £85 a month from it. So as you can see, in July, I was way off. Now, the exam marking that I did, I got some of the money in June, some of it in July, and there's a little bit that comes in later on in September. So that was £642.20. Got paid out in July, which is nearly $800. I did more of that work this year, and I'm really, really pleased I did, because it helped me out enormously, because the reselling took a massive dip, mostly because of my own just silly decision making that I made around it. And I'm currently in the process of rebuilding my reselling income stream, but we'll talk about that probably in a separate video. But yeah, so the exam work was good, and there's also an opportunity for me to take on even more of it, a slightly different type of thing, next year, which I will probably do, because the money from that will come in slightly later. It will probably come in towards the end of July and into August, which will be much needed, as you'll see when we get to August. Print on demand, I basically just have some designs on Redbubble and like maybe half a dozen on Society6, and that paid out £40.46 in July, so nearly $50. And digital products, I mean, it's just, I'm so ridiculous. I swear, like 4 or 5 Etsy shops or something, and each one has maybe 5 or 6 listings in it. And it's something that I really want to get into, but I never do. So I don't know whether to scrap it entirely or just very occasionally add something to it, and kind of get the odd, few pounds here and there. I'm not sure where I'm going with it as yet. But I think I sold one digital download and I got £1.13 for it. So $1.38. And then my affiliate income, this is another income stream that I don't really focus on. I think my problem with it is I don't find it that interesting. So I got £1.89, $2.30 from it. I think it's something that will always play a part. So I only have two. Do I have 2 affiliate links? I have Repper and BookBolt that I use various elements of for my KDP work, mainly, I would say. BookBolt is definitely KDP. I mentioned that I use them. I sometimes show them a little bit in videos, I think, ish. I've got one video that's kind of shows some Repper stuff in it. But affiliates are not really something that I want to majorly focus on. I think I do need to get into the habit of talking about the things that I use a little bit more, and actually showing me using them and how I'm using them and stuff. So there's definitely some room for improvement there, but it's not an income strand that I'm interested in enough to develop much more in the future. So the grand total for July is £1,151.60, so about $1,400. What I haven't shown you is the business expenses that come off that, so it's about £10 for Canva. There's stock that I buy for the vintage jewellery shop, but I didn't really buy anything much in July, so that I can't imagine there's anything really to come off for that. And what else is there? I mean, I buy packaging materials, but I tend to buy that in bulk, maybe every 2 to 3 months. So, there might be another £10 or £20-ish that goes on that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for July. So now let's take a look at August. which is as terrible as I thought it was going to be, because, or I would say, like, July and August have always been my worst 2 months of the year, always, the whole time I've been like trying to make money online. And one of the reasons why I picked up the work for the exam board was to sort of try and eradicate how bad the summer usually is for me. And it's kind of worked in July. Like, you know, a grand in July is not too bad, not too bad at all. However, August, August is appalling. Let's have a look. So the eBay is £268.57. Remember, that is after fees and after postage costs have come off. On Etsy, I made £86.43, so $105. I think at that point I was starting to increase my number of listings. I can't quite remember, but yeah, I think I was heading towards maybe like 100 or just over 100 at this point on there. KDP took a bit of a tumble as well, went back down to £77 and 67 pence. I don't know where the extra seven has come from. $94.73. You can tell I've made this in a bit of a hurry because of the disaster with the vlog footage. But anyway, this is still going to give you a fairly decent picture of what's going on. YouTube was also terrible again, £24.80, $30.21. And I think, you know, over the summer, it's almost like I kind of stop doing stuff. I think for me, my like gardening hobby sort of takes over because, you know, I'm a teacher. I mean, I don't work as a teacher anymore, but I have a lot of friends who are teachers, so they're on their summer break, and that's a good time for me to catch up with them and stuff. So there's more things that take me away from my desk, basically. And so part of me is thinking, well, maybe I need to knuckle down and do more work over the summer. Or maybe what I need to tell myself is, you're going to actually book in like 4 weeks off or something over the summer. So maybe the last couple of weeks of July and the first couple of weeks of August, and actually just close everything down and sort of like deliberately not do anything, and then just put in more work on either side of that to kind of compensate for it financially. I don't know. I'm not sure what the right thing to do is. Anyway, nothing came in from the exam work, nothing came in from print on demand, and I think I must have sold one little digital download that got me £1.50. My affiliates picked up though. I think I must have released the video where I talk about how I'm using Repper to create patterns and things for scrapbooks, because I suddenly had a decent amount of affiliate income coming in from that. So yeah, it's an income stream that I think I need to pay a bit more attention to, but I'm not going to pour all of my efforts into it because it's quite dull. So my August total then is really, really, really bad. I cannot emphasize how bad. I'm, you know, 500 or more pounds short there with what I need every month. If you have questions about how much money I need to live on and sort of like my budget and things like that, I have got, I think, 1 or 2 videos that address that. So rather than putting lots of sort of questions in my comments about that specifically, I will see if I can remember to add a card up above somewhere, so you can go and basically watch that video and hopefully all will be explained. September, things pick up again a bit, enough, just about enough. So I kind of cover myself in September. eBay goes up to £411 after fees and after postage. This is still awful compared to how it has been in previous Septembers, but you can see it's heading in the right direction, and that is as a direct result of me paying more attention to it. The downside is that actually in September I did spend about £130 on stock, so it has, my income has increased, but I've also spent out. But that £130 did buy me 3 or 4 massive job lots of jewellery that I won at auction. So that will sort of continue to pay me back over the coming months. And Etsy really, really picked up in September as well, because I put some effort into, trying to bring that up to the same number of listings as eBay. And I think where we are now, about halfway through October, they are fairly even. I believe Etsy's maybe around, well, you can check, there's a link to my Etsy shop in the description. I think that's possibly circling around 230 listings, and then I think eBay might be 260 or 280, something like that, but they're a lot closer together, and you can see that the income from those two shops is sort of starting to get closer together as well. KDP hit £100, £104.60, so $127. Now, I think it was in September that I experimented with ads a little bit, but from what I remember, I only spent about $4 or $5. It was just like a very, very, very simple, cheap lottery ads campaign. So there's probably about £3 or £4 to come off that as a business expense. But like I said, this is not my bookkeeping. You can just imagine me presenting this to HMRC. Here we go. Here's my little coloured presentation. But no, this isn't my bookkeeping. It is really just to give you a rough idea. YouTube is a little bit better. It looks like I probably released maybe 2 or 3 videos in September. £57 and 2 pence, $69. I mean, that's, it's fairly close to the £80 that I'm looking for, 80, 85. I think if I'm just consistent with YouTube and make sure that I do add 4 videos a month, like that will change. That should be fine. I had my final payment from the exam board in September, which was £175. And that was just for a little bit of additional work that I did at the end. So that's just over $200. Really, really pleased that I did that, because it really helped me out, because September I was still in a bit of a pickle, because the reselling income stream is still terrible at this point. Nothing from print on demand. I tend to get a payout from Redbubble about every 3 months. So I've just had one in October. So yeah, that kind of works out, doesn't it? Yeah. So about every 3 months, I'll earn enough to be over the payout threshold on Redbubble and get something from there. No digital products, no little downloads, and I think just one affiliate sign up for September, and that gives me a grand total for September of I can't speak, £998.74, which is $1,216.58. And that's kind of okay. Like, it's livable. It's not great. Do not get me wrong. It is not great, but it's enough. Those of you that know how much I need every month, you can look at that and see, yeah, do you know what, she's covered herself. It's okay. What I haven't done, or what I didn't manage to do in September, which is what I was hoping to do, was to sort of over earn considerably to then sort of pay back. Because if we go back here and look at, gone too far. Sorry about that. If we look here, I didn't make enough. Like, that's not enough. I was hoping in September that I would make enough to start paying almost like back what I owe from August. But no, we're hoping for that in October. The signs are not great, but we're looking for it in October. And so this is my quarter 3 total, £2,627.76, $3,200.91. So you can see that I am, because I'm aiming for a minimum of 1,000 a month, really, ideally. And you can see that I'm a few £100 short, which is from August. I've still got to sort out August. What will probably happen, although I don't think it will happen as much as I need it to and want it to, is I will probably over earn in quarter 4 enough that will compensate, and that over the course of the year I will get to that £12,000. But the summer, honestly, my quarter 3 income is always a little bit tragic. It's quite sad. But, there is a little bit of pride there. I have generated all of this myself, which is something to be, pleased about. But I know I can do better, and I know I can earn more. I don't need to earn loads more. I will be sharing what my income goals and things are for 2024, probably quite soon actually, because I'm already thinking about it. So there we are, we will leave it there. I'm sorry it's so dark in here, I haven't even put the light on, it's all a little bit, cobbled together, but I hope it's been interesting for those of you that are either already making money online or are hoping to make money online. Either of those two, I hope it's really useful. If you do find it useful or interesting, then let me know in the comments, because if there's enough interest in it, then I can do something like this every quarter for you and just kind of, take you through all my different income streams, what's coming in from where, and so on. So thank you for hanging out with me for a little while, and I will see you again soon.